In this video, we're going to turn this to make this so we could do this. This is a sawbuck. Now, sawbucks have been around for a very long time, and it's helpful to help get logs and everything up off the ground so you don't break your back with your chainsaw. So it'll let us chop up some logs, and we have a pile over there of the tree topper limbs that we needed this so that we could cut them up and make them more manageable, either make kindling or firewood out of that. And that's why we're building this. Okay, so let's go over our supply list. You're going to need 5 2x4s, 8 foot long. I got pressure treated because this is probably going to stay outside. You might want to do the same. You're going to need 3 5/16 bolts with the nuts, a washer, and a lock washer. You're going to need 3 of those. And you're going to need 24 2.5-inch deck screws. Now, I get the T25s because I like the way that they work with the drill. I think most people do anyways, but these are all for outside. So all this, after we put it together, can stay outside and have no problem. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we're going to want to cut our 2x4s in half. We want 10 48-inch 2x4s or 4-foot 2x4s. Now, if you get your lumber from a big box store, you want to check the length again too, because 4 of my 2x4s here are 96.5 inches. One of them is 96 inches. So on 4 of them, I'm going to have to take a 1/2 inch on the end because I want all 10 of these to be 4 foot. So let's go ahead and start cutting these now. Okay, now that we got all of our boards cut in half, what we're going to want to do is take 6 of them and make 2 measurements on each of the 6. We're going to want 1 measurement at 18 inches and 1 measurement at 19.25. I'm going to go ahead and do that now on 6 of those 4-foot 2x4s.
18. 19.25.
Okay, as most of you know, although this is a 2x4, these aren't 4 inches. They're actually 3.5. So what we're going to want to do is find the center of that 18-inch mark, which would be, let's do the math real quick. Half of 3.5, half of 3 is a 1/2 inch, or 1.5 inches. Half of a 1/2 inch is a quarter. Add that together is 1 3/4. Quick math. So make a mark at 1 3/4 on your mark at 18 inches. And at that point, on each one of the boards, we're going to drill a 5/16 hole on each one of the 6 boards. My camera person is looking at me confused, so let me go over that again. For 6 of these 2x4s, we're going to make a mark at 18 inches and a mark at 19.25. At the 18-inch mark, we're going to cut that in half because we're going to drill a hole right there at the 18-inch mark so that our bolts can go through there. So now that we have all of our measurements, the next thing we want to do is drill our 6 holes, 5/16. I got a 5/16 drill bit. We're going to try to be as straight as possible. Now, let me back up a little bit. It's probably better to build this with a miter saw where you could cut the 2x4 straighter, and a drill press where you could drill these straight. However, we're out here at Donley Cove. We don't even have power out here. I had to bring a solar generator battery just to run this circular saw. So we're making do with what we have. And I'm just going to try to be as straight as possible. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is pair these up, and we're going to put our bolts through here. So start out with your bolt, put a washer. Okay, get it started. You might need a hammer if you didn't line these up like I didn't. I just kind of Now there's other plans where they have two different nuts here. They cut the feet at an angle, 30-degree angle. We're not doing that. This is just going to be outside. Probably get tore up anyways. Probably have to build another one later on. Maybe if I have more time later, I'll do that. But for now, we're just trying to have something to help us out here a little bit. So just finger tighten that for now. And you should get a scissor. So we're going to make 2 more of these. Now you can see we're not quite in the center here. Didn't go through straight when I drilled the hole, but you know what? It's still going to work. Okay, so as you see, I'm working on sawhorses here. I don't have like a workbench. We're out in the woods here. So what I'm going to do is take one of my 4-foot. Actually, I might take 2 of them. And I'm going to make a little bench here. Temporarily. Okay. Because what we're going to do now is, you remember that market we did at 19 1/4? Okay. We're going to attach these 2x4s at that mark. You're going to want to keep the edge of the bolts kind of pointing the same direction if you can, because when you come down with your saw, you'll know then not that, you know, where you're at, so you don't hit your saw on those. Okay, now when we attach these, as we screw these in, we're going to want to stay on the same side, because this is going to scissor open and you don't want to mess up, pull a normal Sean and do attach one here, and then it won't open. Okay, so you want to attach them all on the same side when you're on that side. I'll show you here in a second. Okay, so I'm just going to start off with like 1 screw now, because I'm trying to line up with the square on the mark. We want to get this straight and even across all of these. So I'm just going to put in 1 screw now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw on the left board on this side. So we're going to put 2 screws on the left board on each side. But I'm going to start up with 1 right now, because I'm going to square off this end and then square off that end, so we're somewhat straight. Alright, so next thing we want to do is take our other 4-foot 2x4 and put it right underneath the first one. This is for some added strength. And again, we want to put the screws on the same side. Okay, so the next thing I did was I flipped it over, and I'm going to put the remaining 2x4s the same way on our mark, and I'm staying on the left hand side because that's opposite of what's on the other side, which will allow us to do that. So let me just clarify, since we flipped it over, if we stay on the same side, which I did the left side when it was facing the other way, if I put the screws on the left side again, it's opposite of the other side. Okay? Out pretty good out here. It was very cost effective. I mean, it was a cost of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 8-foot 2x4s, 3 bolts, 5/16 bolts, and 24 deck screws. That's it. And you know what? If I beat it up or cut it or whatever, I guess I'll build another one because it's pretty cheap to put together. Definitely saves the back. I wish I would have had this when we were working on the path back there to cut up some of those logs, but now I have it and there's more logs to be cut up. So if you enjoy this series, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this, you want to build one of your own or whatever, here you go. All the measurements and everything, supplies, was in this video, and I'll put a little detailed description down below. And check us out on Instagram, Donley Cove, and our Hunt and Travels. So hey, until next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting.